we were talking on my Facebook page about how women react differently good morning, when they get a compliment from a man, a strange man versus a woman. Now, the comic that I had posted, it showed a woman like basically reacting kind of standoffish when a man compliments her versus whenever a woman compliments her, she's overjoyed and happy and so appreciative. Hey, Sabrina, right? And this guy took offense to that and he was like, well, she's gay if she doesn't like compliments from men. Hey, Pappy. Um, but I was like, well, that means all women are gay because we love when women compliment us, but we have to be standoffish when men compliment us. And so we were going back and forth. But I told him, it's because of all of the games and all types of things that men come with when they compliment us. We don't know how it's going to go. So we have to have our guard up. Now, recently, I was at an event, and it was a Black Excellence Club event. Everybody in there was CEO. Everybody there at least owned one business or multiple, was well off, etc. But I noticed something. All of the women, they were dressed to the nines. It was a gala. All the men looked extremely dapper. None of the single men were approaching the women at all. And you can tell that so many of them, they were, standing by, watching, looking like they wanted to say something, but they Black men of Dallas, and they are afraid to approach women. So the question becomes, when is it appropriate, or when do men feel comfortable approaching women today? Is it that bad? And whose fault is it? Is it our fault? Is it their fault? Did men make it this way, where women have gotten to the point where we don't want to be approached because we've had so many negative experiences? Or is it women just being too caught up in social media? Somebody told me that men don't approach women because they're afraid of becoming a post. They're afraid of being taken the wrong way or looking like a creep. Now, I thought, okay, this is a curated environment. This is an environment where connected to somebody else, so people know each other. It's not like just a typical guy just coming approaching you off the street, like any random that you would just be standoffish about. These men are successful. They're well connected. So I believe in that situation, women would welcome a compliment, or if a man would, a single woman, to initiate conversation with her. It wouldn't be weird, you know? Um, but I was wondering if are men really discerning when it's a good time to do it? I always tell men it's a horrible time to do it when a woman is in a parking lot. Don't do it when she's in a parking lot. But I've heard men say things like, well, you don't know if you're ever going to see her again, so you have to shoot your shot. And I say, well, usually under those circumstances, she's still going to say no, simply because she feels unsafe. In a parking lot, a gas station, stuff like that, don't walk up on me because I'm going to be on high alert. And most women agree. Happy says, I think men with poor intentions feel that way. There's a time and a place for everything, right? Yeah. I just found it interesting that even these successful men feel cautious about approaching a woman, even in the right circumstances. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't in a dark alley. Why were they still afraid? You know, is it that bad? And some guys, you can chime in. Like, is it really that bad where men are just at this point where they're not going to holler? Maybe they're going to wait to be introduced or something. They can't just walk up to them. Because you could just see the guys standing on the side of the sidelines on a wall, and they were all looking and talking and whispering to each other and pointing and all of that, but nobody would make a move. Is it gonna is it gonna get to the point where men are going to start having to be like women and just wait till they're approached by the women to know whether it's okay or something like that? What do you guys think? Pappy says that's because women have intuition and a great deal of men are just trying to smash. Yeah, right. Yeah, a lot of them are just trying to, and that it doesn't matter whether you're successful or not. And the crazy thing is, I have two sons, make their birthday in November, and I want them to initiate talking to a young lady, you know, but at the same time, I've also taught them to not just initiate talking to a girl just because she looks good in public. My sons have basically been taught to, if you want to get with a girl, consider the girls that are in your environment where you get to watch them and study them for a while before you make your move. Look at her family. Look at how she carries herself for a while. Look at her friend choices and all of that. And then after you look at her for a while and you still think that you want to talk to her, then you approach her. So my sons aren't the say red, say yellow, you know, how they used to do in New Orleans when I was growing up, hollering at anything in a skirt. They don't even think like that. Now they like what they see, but first. So I want them to stay like that, but at the same time, I've noticed that in this generation, the Gen Zers don't really even want to approach strangers or younger siblings, but they feel like it's weird to just like approach a girl now. Like you don't do that. Yeah. Pappy says old brown dress. Yeah. So my brothers try to tell my sons, you just go over there and you get a number. And they're like, no. You don't just see a girl in the mall anymore and just go ask for a phone number. They don't do that these days. Things have changed. Lance says rejection is hard. You know, I kind of look at it this way. 90 probably over 90% of a man's experience is going to be rejection, right? It's going to be rejection. So it's like if a guy is raised up and he's told that from the beginning, I think it's easier for him to handle and roll with it, you know? For instance, I've been in sales. We know that most people are going to say no. But we still shoot our shot when we think it's appropriate. If you've ever worked in sales, whether you're a man or a woman, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same philosophy as trying to talk to women or approach women. You got to look at them. You got to see if they really want what you offer. If they look like a target market, they're probably going to say no, or they don't have what it takes, or whatever. It's a lot of the same philosophy. Rejection is part of life, right? Lance says, if I pull up on you, you'll size me up and judge me from what I say. But see, we're doing that all the time. We're doing that even when we're picking our friends, aren't we? So why wouldn't we do that when we're picking our future spouses or dating options? We're always judging people. We can't be afraid of judgment. We judge people and misjudge people all the time too. The one thing about it, I said, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, in that comments, I was in that comment thread on my post, I was like, I'm just glad that it's not me. It kind of sucks to be men when you kind of need sex as much as you breathe and eat, as much as you breathe and you need water. Like it seems like they're just like so driven by that. And so they always have to be on the lookout for it, always trying to look for the opportunity to get more and more and more sex. And so it's like a scarcity mindset. So they're always hollering at this one, hollering at that one. So the rejection is constant, but they can't help themselves because they want it all the time. And I was like, honestly, I wasn't trying to be shady or anything. I'm really sincerely saying I'm just glad that my mind isn't dominated by sex all day, where I can't even keep my focus because I always got to be on the lookout for a new opportunity for sex or to make sure I got sex in ample supply. Because for women like myself, it's like the last thing on the list. It's like the last thing. So a lot of times I feel, this is just me theorizing here, but I feel like men almost resent women for the fact that we don't want sex as much, and so we could just reject them constantly and haphazardly, and it's not a big deal to us, so it's a very big deal to them. And they're like, we're almost evil in their mind because we don't want to give it up. And that's why some men rationalize it in their mind to not have self-control and just go out and take it because they feel like it's owed to them. They feel entitled to it. Now, again, like I said, I might be wrong, but Buckeyes, it looks like Shaquille O'Neal. The most ironic part is that men size up women after we give up the cookie to them. That's very true. Pappy says, I think impatience has led to this. Lance, yes, I do have kids. I have 3 kids. I have 19, 18, and 16. And so, what time is it? I don't know. I kind of feel like men need so much sexual release that they're always on the prowl. And because we women know that, we have to, kind of look you over a few times before we'll feel comfortable. But then even when we feel comfortable and we feel a little bit more sure that you're an okay guy, then we find out later we fell for the okie doke, and it was just a very clever trap to get the sex and go. So because women are now talking to each other a lot on social media, we're starting to talk to each other and we're comparing notes, and we're seeing so many similarities and overlap that we're just like, is it really safe at all? We just gonna close down shop? Like, I have so many women on my side of TikTok that just have given up on men, period. Giving up on men and giving up on sex altogether because they're like, this is too exhausting. It's too exhausting. So I just give up. I don't want to participate. Someone says men can't go out and, well, yeah. Lance says, see, this is experience talking right here. Yes. So one thing I do know for sure from reading a lot of history is that men and women are not going to change. So we're not going to change. The same problems will exist generations from now. So when people ask me, well, what's the solution? I mean, we may very well find some temporary solution now, but it's not going to last. The new generation is going to come up and they're going to have the same questions and the same problems, and they won't remember the answers that we found. And they won't regard them because they'll think that they're a thing of the past and things are new now and things are different. We have to do things differently. So I don't know if men's testosterone levels are going to adjust. People say that they are, that their testosterone is gradually going down generation after generation. They're losing more. And is that a good thing? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because actually, that's one of the reasons behind a lot of the aggression and a lot of the physical violence that we see in our communities. Is it right? Is it good that men's testosterone levels are waning now? Good conversation, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.